Right. Welcome, Hearties all over the world. Welcome back for another virtual live event celebrating season 10 of Hallmark Channel's hit series, When Calls the Heart. I'm Deidre Behar from Entertainment Tonight. It is such an honor to be here with all of you. And today joining us, two of my favorite on-screen couples. Please help me say hello to Kavan Smith and Pascale Hutton.
What's up?
And Viv Leacock and Natasha Burnett.
Hi.
Hello.
It is so wonderful to see all your faces. Like, first things first, how are you feeling about season 10 and where we're at right now?
Ooh.
So excited. So excited. I just think season 10 has so much to enjoy. And so I'm glad that everyone's enjoyed the season up till now. And there's still so much juicy stuff to come. So
I'm glad that you're excited about it because I'm old. I don't remember what happened. It's so long ago. I'm like, if you told
you don't remember what happened yesterday.
I don't. I really don't. I don't.
Mr. Smith, allow me to refresh your memory. We are coming off of episode 4, a massive milestone in any Hardy's life. We have been waiting 10 seasons for this. We finally got to meet the Coulter baby. And I want to start this off. Honestly, I'm seated, but I do have to give Pascale a very big standing ovation.
Yeah, you can all stand up.
Yeah, everybody rise. Everybody rise.
Nobody stand up.
I'll stand up.
Everybody's belly is on the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to give you your flowers, Pascale. I've been watching you on this show for a long time. You never fail to take my breath away. Watching you in this episode, carrying a baby, going through labor, lots of hours in labor, moments of tears, moments of joy. Walk me through all of that and how that felt.
That episode was a dream to film. It was so wonderful. It starts out quite comedically, right? Where Rosemary's really frustrated, wants to be done with the pregnancy. How can we make this happen? They're walking. And then she goes into labor, middle of the street. And there's so many of the cast involved in that moment. And everybody just dove in, and there's lots of improvised moments. And
Like what?
Well, that moment where like everybody starts breathing together to try and like support Rosemary, that was all improvised. And then all the stuff with Ned being involved, that was all improvised on the day, because Ned really wasn't, he was written in the script, but it was very vague.
Even your dog's excited. Wow.
No, the mailman just arrived. So that's an exciting moment. She always brings him treats, so he's like, "What's happening?"
Love it.
No, but what I was saying is Ned Yost wasn't supposed to be involved. He wasn't supposed to be in. I mean, he was in it, but he didn't really have any involvement. So we were joking around about Rothgar, what are you doing here? And we just started like riffing and coming up with these ideas of like him being involved, and then Rosemary being like, Ned, what? Why are you here? Like, you're not who I want. And so it was turned into this really funny thing, and everybody just started kind of playing off of each other, and it was just a really fun, beautiful moment. And then that led into obviously the delivery, which was so emotional, and just really, I felt like the stakes were so high, and what that moment really is for women of going, you're in your most intense moment of your life, like period. That's the moment. And just to be there. And I think Kavan thought on the page, you could have interpreted it a few different ways. It could have been done lightheartedly. It could have been done comedically. It could have been done heartfelt, and we started into the scene, and Kavan saw the direction that I was going, which was more real. I think I've done it a couple times in my real life, so I know kind of what it's like. And Kavan looked at me and he goes, "Oh, okay, you're going there. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to be there right with you." And he was so like open and available in that like really present way of going, like in that way that a husband is there for his wife in that moment, the same way we as two actors were like, okay, we're doing this together and we're going to be really there for one another. And he kind of went, oh, okay. And that's honestly been the best thing. I think Kavan and I would both agree. That's always been the best thing of our relationship working together, is that when one of us starts going, the other one's like, okay, I'm going with you, and never gonna like leave the other person to hang out to dry. It's just like, if you're going, I'm going, and I'm gonna support you. And it's always been the best part. And that scene, I felt like just encapsulated that dynamic between the two of us so much.
It really did. And I love so much your relationship on screen. I think I love even more your friendship off screen. You're never shy about, you know, giving each other the gears, and you love poking fun at each other. But Kavan, I wanted to ask you, because I know you have fun giving Pascale a hard time, but in those moments, in those scenes, I saw so much joy and emotion in your eyes. What was it like really kind of putting all that jokey stuff on the back burner and tapping into those emotions as your character finally became a father?
Well, I would love to answer that question, but I'm afraid we're out of time. Pascale pretty much just wrote that whole thing up.
You never miss a chance. Never miss a single opportunity.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
Okay, let me answer it for you, Kavan.
No, I totally remember that. And I agree with what Pascale's saying. Most, like, we love to joke around, and that's a big part of what and same with Viv. I love to joke around with everybody on set, but every once in a while, there's a moment when you like, I mean, Pascale's dead on. I wasn't intending to play it that way. I was just gonna kind of go for the casual humor in it all, and then I was like, oh, you're really doing the whole label thing. Okay, my approach isn't gonna work at all. Then this is gonna look terrible. So I was just like, all right, well, let's just be real. And I've had two kids as well, and it's a very personal, real, interesting thing to do. And as an actor, you know, playing it with somebody that you're really close to as a friend, you can kind of, it's not just being there as an actor, it's also kind of like, hey, I'm here with my buddy and we're doing this. And you know, we've so many ups and downs over the years, and we've been pressing for this particular storyline for so long, and suddenly it's happening and we're shooting it. And when we were finished, and you always wonder, like, is it going as well as I think it's going, or is it going as badly as I think it's going? And when we got to the very end of the day, the crew clapped. Mostly for me, but I wanted Pascale to feel involved in it, so I clapped for her too. And you know, when the crew at the end of a long day, they're tired and they're grumpy, and they're going to take the time to appreciate what you've done. It's like, okay, I think we did something good here today. So it's we don't always do that on this show, but between Lee and Rosemary, we're kind of the lighthearted, fun ones. And every once in a while, when we do it, it's really poignant and it's really great. And I think that's what we like most, is the, you know, the goofy stuff followed by really heartfelt stuff. So, and we've been waiting for so many years to do exactly that scene. So when it was all done, it was like, wow, well, what do we do now?
Oh, I think we know what you're going to do next. I think you've got a whole bunch of years to raise that little baby girl. Can you just confirm that was a real baby that you were holding in those first moments?
No. They came up with some real money, and that's actually an animatronic doll. It cost $500,000. It cries like you.
No, it's
apartment, big budget.
That baby is the most beautiful, sweet little baby. And when that baby came onto set that day, the baby really was only, correct me if I'm wrong, Kavan, I know you will, 2 weeks old. Like really, really like a newborn, fresh. I mean, still had that new baby smell, and it's just those little coos, and it was just honestly the sweetest thing, the sweetest thing.
A star in the making. That little baby hit all her marks, all her cues. And I think, you know, a huge moment that totally tugged at my heartstrings was learning that baby girl Coulter's middle name is Elizabeth, obviously in tribute to your dear pal Elizabeth Thornton. But we're still wondering. Yeah, I think it had something to do with Elizabeth Thornton. Yeah.
All right.
We are like really excited to find out the baby's first name? Are we going to find that out on Sunday in Sunday's episode? Or are we going to have to wait a little while?
It's a good name.
You do wait a little while. Rosemary and Lee take some time before settling on the name. There's Lee has some pretty creative suggestions that
wow,
I think the fans will get quite a giggle at, because there's some good ones in there, and they take a while. But what I will say is, when they do settle on the name, it is
perfect.
The perfect name for a baby girl that belongs to Rosemary and Lee. It is the perfect name.
Okay, is it Valley? Is it Voice? Is it Theater? Is it Star? Am I in the right zone? Am I warm?
Not really.
You're really cold right now, Deidre. Yeah. You're really cold.
Can you give us a hint?
I won't give you a hint, because I really want people to have the same experience that Kavan and I had when Lindsay, our showrunner, was trying to come up and brainstorm names. She texted me and she said, and I happened to be on set and I happened to be sitting right beside Kavan, and she texted me and she said, I've come up with a name for the baby, but if you hate it, let me know. But there's something about it that just seems perfect. Let me know your thoughts. And she texted me the name, and I literally went, oh, and I showed it to Kavan, and Kavan was like, oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. And so I really hope that the fans have the same reaction, because I think it's the perfect name.
I love how this is so personal for you. It almost feels like you're telling me you're, deliberating over your own baby's name in real life.
Yes.
Right? It's such an important choice. And I know we've only just met the baby and there's a lot to come. So what does this chapter of life with baby girl Coulter look like in these next, episodes moving forward?
Probably chaotic would be my guess. I mean, we're hoping that there'll be lots of fun to ensue, and I guess, I know what happens for the rest of this season. Although
yes, that's what I'm curious about. Are we going to?
I know I forgot that bit. We'll get those details from Pascale. We're going to talk about the future moving ahead.
Pascale, roller coaster. I think
it's unexpected. I was even surprised. Because Kavan and I have been kind of talking about this, and the fans have been talking about it for years and years now. We naturally had kind of come up with ideas in our heads of what do Rosemary and Lee look like as new parents, and what does that look like, and how do they balance it all? And it's unexpected. It's unexpected, the journey that they go through, especially in those early days. And again, I think it'll be really wonderful for the fans to see that and see it play out, what that actually looks like. Because
you don't remember. You're making this up.
No, it's very heartfelt. And so there is comedy eventually, but there's a very heartfelt journey that happens in those early days that I think will catch people off guard.
Oh my goodness. Catch us off guard. I cannot wait to see it. No one is built to be a mom and dad quite like Rosemary and Lee. Natasha and Viv, of course, hello. I want to ask you guys some questions too. Having a baby in town, I have to imagine that the baby fever rubs off a little bit. Now, I know that Joseph and Minnie already have, 2 kids of their own, but do you think this new baby is, maybe giving them the itch to expand the family?
Sure.
Really? No.
Yeah, being the one that doesn't have to carry a baby. Yeah, sure. Let's do it. All good.
Viv's all in. Natasha, how do you think Minnie feels about having this cute little baby arrive in town?
You know what? I think it always will take a mother back, although I'm not a mother, but it will take a mother back to that stage when you just have a newborn, and you'll always love that. You always miss that stage, even though, when they're older and you're glad you don't have to manage certain things, but you just love it. You just love that stage. So I think Minnie just loves being able to be part of that and just enjoy that with Rosemary.
And baby Coulter is really cute. I mean, oh my goodness. Crazy. So
cute baby.
Yeah. So made everybody got the itch. Everybody's had baby fever. That's for sure.
Everyone has baby fever. My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
The town is booming. Wow.
It's expanding.
Okay. I think it's so special. The Canfields just have this magic way about them that they infuse light and love into everything they do. And as two of the parents that are in town. How involved are they going to be in baby Coulter's life? Are they constantly giving Lee and Rosemary parenting tips and tricks? How's all that going to work out?
What's cool? Yeah, the Canfields and the Coulters are real close and neighbors and we check in on the baby Coulter but the thing about it is like the way Pascale and Kavan play Lee and Rosemary, they're like a tour de force, man. So they got it. They got it. They jumped in, and as crazy as it all was, it's like they both were saying they've been waiting to do this for so long that they dove right in. They have all the assistance from everybody in town, and it's just, Rosemary as a new mom is like Rosemary doing anything else. She's gonna knock it out. So we're there to support if they need anything, but they're off and running, and it's really cool to see.
Well, I imagine that baby Coulter is going to be the big arc of Lee and Rosemary this season. Viv, for you, what is the big mission that Joseph is on in season 10?
Yeah, with Minnie's kind of, she adds in her thoughts on everything that happens with the family and what Joseph is trying to do. We figure out that it might be time to kind of expand his church duties, as it were. Just really kind of leaning towards doing more service in that regard and less towards, working with his hands all the time. So there's a bit of he's getting pulled in a couple different directions. But he's really thinking about expanding how much time he spends counseling folks, through everything that they're going through and through everything he's going through. It's just a thing where that's the question. How much time does he devote to church now? That's the new mission.
Okay, so Natasha, is Minnie pulling Joseph back home, wants him to maybe spend more time with the family?
I think Minnie, because she's also finding her feet this season, I think it's actually a nice balance for them both to sort of find their own ways and what really works for them. And I think Minnie's always just supportive of what Joseph is doing and will always try and give the best advice she can. And I think this season it was actually just really nice to see the family spend a good amount of time together, but also apart, just diversifying.
Yeah, well, I have to tell you, every scene that takes place in the kitchen, girl, you make me hungry. You make me want to go up in the cabinet. Everything that you're whipping up in that kitchen, it's just like chef's kiss, truly. Now that you guys are the owners of Abigail's Cafe and Minnie's organizing community dinners, I mean, she's really making an impact in this town. What has that like for you to see Minnie really become an integral part of the fabric of Hope Valley?
It's really been great. It's been amazing. It's been really fun to be able to explore her and develop her character and just play around with what she's like with her new friendship groups and making new friends and really just figuring out for her what makes her feel like home. And I actually think that's where the community dinners for her come in. It really, I think, is a homely feel for her. And it really, I think, allows her to expand outside of the family and give more when she's able to go home and spend time with them.
Yeah. No, it's so wonderful to see her thriving in all elements of her life. And I'd be remiss if I didn't throw out an Angela and a Cooper question. I mean, I know last season we really kind of got to see, especially Cooper, go through some of the, typical adolescent growing pains. Where do we like in season 10? Are these kids behaving? Are they still sort of figuring things out? What are we going to see?
Yeah, you can kind of always depend on Angela to do the right thing, throughout. Kind of like in real life, like I don't have to worry about Vienna doing anything bad. She's always I encourage her to do bad things. That's how good she is. But Cooper's still kind of, he's kind of testing the waters a little bit and figuring things out. You know, he's getting a little older, so he's still just having fun. The thing I love about watching Elias play Cooper is like Elias is like a puppy dog. He is just, you know, he's loving life and he's having a great time. And so when he brings that to Cooper, and you know, Cooper is just everything's easy, nothing's hard, and he's gotten through some harder things in the past seasons, but now he's having a lot of fun. And he's got a new little buddy to run around with, which is very cool to see. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool to watch that friendship, you know, blossom from a sort of a place of discord into a place of like grace and welcoming and acceptance. Yeah. And Cooper was one of the first kids to discover the hot springs, which has just been so wonderful for the town, bringing tourism and joy from near and far. What else are we going to see from the hot springs this season?
Oh, some medical miracles you're going to see from the hot springs. And
really?
Yeah, the hot springs are very integral to a couple of people's storylines. I'm not going to say too much because that's how you get in trouble. But yeah, it's very cool. This the addition of that, because what it meant to the community as far as, you know, monetarily, you know, there was a bit of a downturn, and the hot springs really helped pick everybody back up. Like you said, tourism and bringing people to the town, and yeah, being able to introduce different characters. It's pretty cool.
Kavan, right on cue as always. I wanted to ask you, because it's been so exciting, you know, really seeing the friendship between Joseph and Lee develop as they continue to work on the mill. If you had to describe their bromance in one word in season 10, what would you say?
Hot.
No, it's not a word. No, that's just weird. That's weird. I'm gonna say it. It's one word that nobody's gonna understand except for Viv. Okay. And I think the word is Vivels.
Is that a sweet nickname? Is that what he calls you, Viv?
That's what he calls me. And he's the only person on the planet that can call me that, and I don't get upset.
But I think it's just kind of a microcosm of how we get along on set. Viv is one of those guys where, I mean, I've known him forever, and I couldn't find a person anywhere in the world to ever say anything bad about him. Every time you see him, the guy's a joy to be around. He has no idea what's going on, but he's a joy to be around.
Don't know anything.
And it's really fun. We talk a lot about our characters having more to do with one another as we go on. And I know that we've really enjoyed that idea. And I think that he's one of the joys I have in going to set. When I see him every day, we always laugh and have a good time, tell good stories, ask each other about our kids. And it's really very similar to the relationship that we're trying to create on screen between our two characters. We kind of have that off. I mean, last year, Viv was giving me some advice about one of my kids who was going through some stuff. And, you know, it was very eerily similar to the relationship they have, those two guys have on camera. So I, for one, hope that they push more in that direction, because like Pascale, and well, maybe a little bit better looking than Pascale, but I really like working with Viv. So I hope we can go a little further.
Okay.
Yeah.
Viv,
we're throwing that out there.
If you're Vivels, is Kavan Cavill?
It's always Cav, or I'm just laughing because he's always saying something hilarious. Like you cannot have a bad day on set when Kavan is with you. It's not possible.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
I was like, I need
Stick around a few more seasons, Viv. You'll have one too.
Let's go. I'm ready.
And Viv, what's the word you would use to describe Joseph and Lee's bond in season 10?
Equal. That's they are equals. It's kind of the way like Cav and I see each other, and it's like you were saying, it's just so easy between us. You know, there's some folks you'll meet and you kind of have to get to know and see how they do and how things work, and then you fall into a rhythm. But like with Cav, it was like day one. day one. I mean, it really works that way with a lot of folks on set, especially when they're comedic, because that's my love. So it's like, Pascale, Cav, Ben is super funny. This, Natasha cracks me up all the time. We click on that level, and so it just makes getting into any of the thing that we do on set, it's just so much easier. But yeah, Lee and Joseph, the way they regard each other is just like they're in each other's heads. You know what I'm thinking, I know what you're thinking. I flashback to last season when we had the moment where we were going through the whole bank loan business, and it was very important for Cav and I to do things the way we did, because we did a lot of stuff without having to explain it to each other, because they know each other so well. They don't have to get into any type of explanation. They understand each other, and the way they regard each other, it's true respect. And especially, given that this takes place like 100 years ago, it's just special. It makes it even more special.
Yeah, that second, shorthand that you have with each other is beautiful. I hope we continue to get to see it. Natasha and Pascale, I echo those same sentiments between Minnie and Rosemary. It's been really beautiful getting to see them bond a little closer and get to know each other. And as a woman who's a fan of the show, I have to tell you, the female friendships that we get to see on screen are a huge reason why I started watching When Calls the Heart in the first place. And as more and more people come to town, watching these friendships develop and blossom has been so beautiful. So Natasha, let's start with you. I mean, what does it mean to be a woman in Hope Valley who is, spreading these ideals and lifting other women up and just being so positive?
It's really something from Minnie's perspective to be able to tell the story that she can tell. And then also even her, like working with Pascale, the last couple seasons, we didn't actually have anything really together. So it's actually really nice for the two characters and their dynamic to work together. And as the season progresses, like they have a few things that they work on together. And I actually really love that, because actually even watching both Pascale and Kavan, I never get a chance to watch them live and in person, and I actually really loved it just to see them play off each other, and it's just so fun to watch. And so then to actually be able to be in that and be part of that is it's just a real experience. It's just a really great experience.
Pascale, how do you feel?
I mean, I have a couple things to say, as per usual.
God, here we go. I'm gonna take a little nap, everybody.
Well, I feel like the question was multi-pronged. So I'm going to start with, it is a beautiful thing that you see this sisterhood of the women of Hope Valley, and that includes Rosemary, and that includes Minnie and Elizabeth and all of them. And you see that really specifically highlighted in the baby shower episode. And it's this coming together of all the women, and how beautiful that is, of women wanting to come together to celebrate somebody, and then also just really do something so nice for that person and lift them up and make them feel loved and appreciated and cherished. And we see that, and it's obviously very funny. Of course, it's always going to be funny having like just baby shower and Rosemary, those two things together, it's going to be funny. But and it is funny, but it's also so incredibly heartfelt of the women coming together and just really wanting to make Rosemary feel supported. And Minnie is a key part of that, as are all the women. So that's one part of it. But then like Natasha said, Rosemary and Minnie, they have something, and I think it happens later on, so I'm not going to say what it is, but they partner up on a project, and it's quite funny to see their two different approaches and how they navigate that together. It's a very funny partnership. And I've always thought the strength in our show and the longevity of our show is when you can find those moments of course, celebrating those partnerships and duos that we've come to love and expect, but also when you can take new combinations of people in town and throw them into a situation. And And that's getting harder and harder to do when you're in now season 10. Like that's who hasn't been partnered up together. It's not very many, but Minnie and Rosemary hadn't. And so it was very fun to have those two partnered up together. And they're really so different, the women and how they approach the world. But I think their intentions are similar, of wanting to do good and wanting to bring like life and love and celebration to the town. And so that was a fun, and I think it'll be a fun new dynamic that people haven't seen before. I'm
already getting visions of what that might look like. Minnie's like very calm, very methodical. Rosemary's like very high energy, very creative. Is it creative friction? Is it just two women who have the same goal but approach it differently?
All of that.
Okay.
All of that
rolled into one. But it comes out so nicely in a bow. It just
Listen, I love my girls. I really love my girls. Everyone's different, but so beautiful. And I think we should wrap this up. Hopefully, you can all go around and give the one moment in season 10 that we have not seen yet that you are most excited to gift to the Hardys. Obviously, spoiler free. I see Kavan is mulling, so I'm not going to start with him. Natasha, let's start with you.
Okay. So coming up, I know that Joseph and Minnie have a version of a celebration of their own that is representative of their culture and their home. And I think for them, it's a very heartfelt, meaningful expression of how they feel about people, the town and the community in Hope Valley.
We love the celebration. Okay, that sounds fun. Pascale, what are you thinking?
Well, one scene in particular popped into my head, and although I won't say that it's a pivotal scene, because it's not, it was so much fun to film. It is Rosemary and Lee as new parents, as co-owners of the newspaper. Like, it's two new parents juggling it all, and how chaotic and hilarious that can be. And this scene had, it was just, I think it's probably like it. We had special effects. We had an actual baby. We had all these props. It was like probably a director and actor's nightmare. But Kavan and I read it on this page, and we were like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be good." And it was so much fun to film. The two of us were like laughing and having such a good time. But I really think that the fans are just gonna have quite a hoot at watching it.
I'm getting deja vu of when the two of you were going in and out of the doors in the newspaper office.
You're in the right zone, Deidre.
Okay.
You're in the right
Yes.
zone. I
I'm
knew you
finally
would get
warm.
it. Yes.
Finally warm. You're right. Not a pivotal scene, but a scene that's memorable because the two of you make it magic. Okay. So hopefully, Pascale, you'll tweet or let us know when that scene happens, because we're going to reference back to this interview. People will want to know what that scene was. Will we know what you're talking about, or do you think
people will know?
No.
I think it's the most chaotic scene in the entire season.
Oh, I can't wait. Okay. So we've got a celebration from Natasha. We've got chaos from Lee and Rosemary. Viv, let's go to you. What is the moment that you're most excited to gift the fans?
There's a lot of there's a lot of Joseph standing up in front of everybody and addressing the things that everybody's going through, which Kavan always laughs at me because he knows that I got the worst memory for lines out of everybody on the cast. So between Natasha and Kavan laughing at me because I'm always screwed up, it's like, but finding my way through that stuff, I actually love a lot, because I have this amazing cast of friends around me that help me. I'll just look at Natasha, and y'all can't see this, but she's literally like mouthing the words to me when I look out into the audience. She's like, "Yes, good." She's giving me all that stuff that people don't know.
You're a good friend, Natasha.
My good friend Natasha. I'm gonna expand on what Natasha said. With the celebration, with everything that stems from everything that the Canfields were trying to share with their new community. It means a lot because of the level of acceptance that exists in Hope Valley. The thing that people have to know is, yes, this is, you know, in some way, shape, or form where we are, I'm not going to say we're altering history, but because I'm sure if you go back into, you know, all different communities along the way, going back many, many years, I'm sure you could find this situation. A group of people that just cared about each other, didn't care about people's backgrounds or anything like that. They just came together and they stuck together. And with that celebration that we kind of want to share, it really is us knowing that we're accepted, knowing that we can stay, knowing that our kids are safe here. And that means a lot. It means everything to a lot of folks that just never had that. And I'm really happy that we could show that. And it's real, you know, it's real. Like Kavan was saying before, like, you know, we really do have this great bond as a cast and as characters. So I'm excited for that. It's very cool.
I can't wait. I cannot wait to see it. And Kavan, no pressure. We're going to end with you. The season 10 moment.
It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure, and I'm probably
a lot of pressure for someone who doesn't remember anything.
Exactly. The whole time I'm sitting here like, what scene can I think of that's pivotal? So I thought what I would do instead is babble a little bit. Pascale mentioned that we see a scene together, and we were both like, "Oh my God, we get to play." It generally does not work that way. We see a scene, one of us sees some positive in it, one of us sees negative in it, and it's usually a matter of convincing the other person that there's a scene here to be had. That one that she's talking about, the director, that was Peter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Peter and Pascale were all over it. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a nightmare. I hate this scene already. Then as we got going, it's like, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. And it started to be fun. But so that gets me to my second babble point, which is, I think what I'm most excited about bringing forward this season is the relationship between Rosemary Lee and the baby, because I love being on set with that baby. And I told Pascale a few times in the past that I wasn't super keen on it because I'm not 16 anymore and don't have as much energy as I used to. But I really love the intimate scenes where it's just the three of us being quiet, like she and I sitting on the couch or something, and the baby's in the thing. One of us puts the baby down, one of us picks the baby up, one of us holds the baby, and it's just the three of us in a little thing. Those moments I really do enjoy, both as a dad and as an actor, and it's usually quiet, not a lot of cast, so I do like those moments. And then I want to babble on one more thing with Viv and his not knowing his lines. He's the most charming actor that doesn't know his lines in the universe, so no one ever gets mad. In fact, one of the first scenes we did together, we turned it into a bit of a game. It's kind of like playing tennis. So we'll do his coverage, and he doesn't really get through it. He gets good. He's a good actor. So in the end, he always gets the performance he wants. But then when we turn around and get my coverage, I get it in a take or two takes, and I always whisper into his ear afterwards. I go, "I won."
Every time.
Every time.
I love that, Viv. That really speaks to how charming you are.
One day I'll get it.
I love it. I love it. And Pascale, I wanted to know your thoughts because I feel like over the course of the years, we've talked. And I think, Pascale, you were on team Real Baby, and Kavan, you wanted an animatronic doll because you didn't want to deal with the crying and the nuances of having a new baby on set. Pascale, how do you feel knowing that this guy changed his mind and he loves having that little baby there?
Oh, I knew he would. There's something about a real baby that's just electric. It is it's the most magical thing. And I knew once that baby, I mean, almost like real life, once that baby is in your arms, like everything else just melts away. It's just magical.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. And let's use that word magical. I have to imagine that is what we are in store for with the rest of season 10, a magical finish to the season. Hearties, don't you dare stop watching. You got to tune in every Sunday, Hallmark Channel, 9 p.m., 8 Central. I think the best is yet to come. We're about halfway through the season. I can't wait to see what you guys have up your sleeves.
Same. I can't remember.
Again. See you guys.
See you later.
Adios.
Bye.